My name is Ben Eskew. I'm the CEO, founder of Corstasis Therapeutics. At Corstasis, we believe home is where the heart is, and we're developing solutions to help to provide additional options for physicians to treat patients in the outpatient setting. So a little bit about myself. My background is largely in development and commercialization of cardiovascular products. Randy just mentioned Cypher. I was the last person on earth to sell Cypher stents, and I've been doing this for over 20 years. So we have deep connections in the world of cardiology, interventional cardiology, and heart failure. And actually, this company started as a solution to a problem many of our cardiologists were facing kind of during my journeys with a previous company. A little bit about our technology. So we've developed a novel formulation that leverages existing products. So the whole intent of this program has been to be hyper capital efficient and time efficient. So some of you may be familiar with what happened with nasal naloxone, otherwise known as nasal Narcan. It's now an OTC product, and several other products that are being developed, such as nasal epinephrine. We're leveraging the same device delivery system that they're leveraging, but we've developed a novel formulation and have several use patents, which I'll get into in a little bit. The FDA has confirmed our 505(b)(2) pathway. We have global patent coverage through 2040. There's a significant total addressable market. We have some additional pipeline opportunities, and we are a pivotal trial stage company with expected approval in 2025. So our lead product candidate is an intranasal diuretic. It's on this delivery system. I know it's a little hard to see, but very simple, easy to use delivery system for patients. And the whole intent of this therapy is to provide an alternate route of administration. The nose bypasses the gut. And so why is there a problem? Oftentimes patients with congestive heart failure, liver, or kidney disease are taking an oral diuretic medication. Some of you may know that the brand name Lasix is the most commonly used drug in the class. It's the 14th most prescribed drug on planet Earth. It's a gigantic problem. And so many of these patients taking that oral diuretic medication experience some level of resistance, and the typical algorithm is double, triple, quadruple the dose of that oral medication. Depending on which cardiologist you ask on which day, that works 40 to 70% of the time. When it doesn't work, those patients are admitted to the hospital for an IV version of the exact same drug. So some quick facts for you. 80% of patients admitted to the hospital for worsening heart failure, the sole intervention is off 65% of the time is an IV diuretic, and 80% of the time they're released from the hospital without any relief of their symptoms. The current national average is somewhere around 25% of those patients are readmitted to the hospital within 30 days, and 50% are readmitted within 6 months. So it presents a very expensive, very morbid treatment paradigm for our patients, and a real opportunity to provide value to our healthcare system, improve outcomes for patients. So our therapy intends to deliver IV similar therapy in the outpatient setting. And so we hope to deliver a better solutions loop for patients suffering from fluid overload by alleviating symptoms. So where would this be used? To be used at the time of oral diuretic intensification as an adjunctive measure to help those patients avoid a hospitalization in the first place. So in the physician's office, patients often present. Many physicians would tell you that 20-30% of their practice is managing diuretics in heart failure and keeping these patients out of the hospital. The second setting would be in the ER urgent care setting. So many of our investors are actually ED physicians, and when they heard about this, they said, I could use this in a variety of ways. Instead of admitting patients to the hospital simply for an IV version of this diuretic, I would send them home. And then the third, where we think the lowest hanging fruit lies, is patients being discharged from the hospital, kind of as a pill in the pocket type of prescription to avoid a readmission to the hospital, which every hospital in America is hyper-focused on, because if you're a hospital that's performing above the national average in terms of heart failure-related readmissions, you face up to a 6% hit on all of your Medicare reimbursement. So, our proposed price per cost of therapeutic episode, let's call it 5 days worth of therapy, is about 1/10 of the cost of a heart failure admission, a very uncomplicated admission. So, our initial meetings with payers have been very positive. They're very excited about this, and they think that, this could, you can do the simple math. If the product only works 2 out of 10 times, it pays for itself and then some. So very large market here. We think this is a very conservative estimate of a fraction of the current patients. We think it's at least $2 billion, and this is only in the realm of CHF, doesn't include the liver, kidney, and nephrotic syndrome patients. So as I mentioned, we are a clinical stage company. This is data from our first study, and essentially, I know there's a lot of graphs and a lot of text on the page. In the interest of time here, I'll summarize it very quickly. We had a faster time to max absorption than the oral, about 50% faster, which is exactly what we'd want to see through the nose, delivering IV similar therapy. It was safe and worked. What these drugs do is they simply make a patient pee. As you can see in the graph here, irrespective of our nasal dose, we had equal or better diuresis versus the oral and intravenous dose forms at 0 to 8 and 0 to 24 hours. We're in our pivotal trial today. We're in cohort 5 of 6. So basically 50 of our 64 patients are in-house today. Patients are being dosed as we speak. This is a quick overview of the design. It's a simple PK/PD study in healthy volunteers. We expect to complete the pivotal trial by 4/16/2024, and I expect to file a new drug application sometime in either late Q2 or late Q3. As I mentioned, we are not just a single product company. We've also developed our own subcutaneous, very small format version of the product, and we think our nasal product has a serious benefit in the world of veterinary heart failure and small dogs suffering from fluid overload. Global patent coverage through 2040. These are issued sets of intellectual property for the methods and composition of edema refractory to oral diuretics. We've protected the actual composition of matter and the use of the product through the nose. We've filed in all commercially relevant geographies around the world. We believe we have the patent longevity of a new chemical entity, but the regulatory velocity and efficiency of the 505(b)(2), which allows you to demonstrate relative bioequivalence. So a little bit about our milestones today. We have commercial scale GMP manufacturing in place today at a world-class commercial scale manufacturer, the same folks who manufacture Narcan and other drugs for the world. That product comes off of 12 months stability in 2 months from today. So as you can see here, we're in Q4 there, and we're in Q1 of this year, and I expect to complete that pivotal trial and have a pre-NDA meeting in the next couple months here, which puts us on track to file our NDA as discussed. So once again, the goal is to prevent admissions and readmissions. Here, we've asked physicians if simply showing them nasal would be enough to sell. Hey, we have a nasal version of this diuretic with the same indication as the already approved medication. 98% plus of the physicians we polled in this 66 physician survey said they would use the product, kind of a no-brainer if it was covered. So how would we sell this, right? I'm a commercial person. This is where I really get excited, and everything we've done to this date is stuff that I'm not good at, but I believe there are multiple opportunities for us. So if you threaten me with a good time of putting together a small strike force of high-level medical device, ultra-connected individuals, I'd love to do that. If we can find the appropriate partner, we could do that as well. There's a lot of pharma companies that need something that would increase their access and increase their revenue capabilities, particularly some of the public companies that are already in the space. What can we do with a small sales force? So if we just focused on simply the post-discharge population, this is 10 geographic metros. This is data from a top-performing center here in Orange County, or a group of centers in Orange County. They had 1,937 patients discharged. Imagine if we just got those patients as a pill-in-the-pocket type of prescription. We could do roughly $100 million in sales with a very small sales team. So obviously, I would focus on the highest GDP areas and deploy sales teams through our existing network of cardiology-focused representation. So a couple market comps for you. SC Pharmaceuticals is the active player in the space. They're funded by over $450 million of venture money from the who's who in the venture world. They're public today. They're having a little slow start because of their specialty model, but they're off to a great start. Soon to come to market is NASDAQ ARS Pharmaceuticals with nasal epinephrine. And then we'll skip the valuation stuff, but we could see ourselves conducting an IPO here in late 2024. Thank you for your time.